right, all right. Good afternoon, people. Good afternoon. It is Thursday. How's everybody doing? My name is Carvel Bailey, and I am President and CEO of Bless the Ball Skill Development Academy. And at Bless the Ball, we enhance and develop our participants physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, through the game of basketball. We use basketball as a vehicle to get individuals from one place to the other and build them up from start to beginning while they're in our presence. So that's what Bless the Ball Skill Development is. We offer after school programs as well, camps, clinics, private sessions, group sessions. That's what we do. Anything to enhance our youth. That's what it is that we do. Derek, what up, man? Do me a favor if you're on this on IG or on Facebook, like this, share this. Gonna jump in, gonna jump out today on another topic that will be very useful for anyone that's looking to be a leader, that is a leader, that's a parent, teacher, coach, whatever it is that you do that may be in some form of leadership or having someone under you or following you that you have somewhat of authority over. That's what we do here on this show. We kind of bring basketball and life together as one because they definitely intertwine with each other. So as always, this show is sponsored by Bless the Ball Skill Development Academy, and we always start off and we jump. Our launching pad is always from understanding life through the game of basketball. All right, a guide to effective leadership and coaching. That's my new book. Go pick it up. It's not an X and O book. People ask, is this an X and O book? Teach you basketball plays and how to play basketball? No, this is a book that teaches about leadership, about coaching effectively, about, from a player standpoint, what it is that you should know and understand if you're a player dealing with teammates, dealing with coaches, dealing with teachers, anyone in authority, and anyone that's a leader. This book is good for you if you're a parent, if you're a teacher, again, administrator, spiritual advisor, supervisor, whatever it is. This book helps you to understand some things that can be put in place, strategies to help you build a team, build team chemistry, gain some camaraderie, and to get the best out of those in which you are serving. So understand life through the game of basketball. I put the links in the comments already. So again, like this broadcast, share this broadcast. We're on episode number 4. I said I was going to do 8 episodes because 8 chapters in the book. Just want to enlighten people to some of the things in the book so that they can understand, because I have been getting a lot of questions lately about, well, I don't play basketball. Well, at some point you are a leader, or you will be a leader, or you're under someone's leadership. So this book is good for you to be able to know how to deal with things that are going on in your personal, professional, business sector of what's going on. So as always, Courtney, what up, man? I see that you popped on. This will be our launching pad. So this is from chapter 3 in the book. I'm going to read a couple excerpts and then we're going to jump right into it. Chapter 3 is called The True Definition of Success, which is the title of this episode. True Definition of Success. Having a genuine concern for players as people is vital. You have to have a genuine concern for your players. You have to have a genuine concern for those that you are dealing with. Like, you have to see them as people. You just can't see them as a number. All right, act like it's small college and not the University of Notre Dame somewhere where you walk into class and there's 600 people in a lecture. Act like it's a smaller class. All right, with anything that you do when you become a leader, be able to see those individuals as people, not just numbers. So I want to start off so that you all understand, because I read this and I used to study this. It helped me become a great coach when I used to first started out coaching years and years ago, I would kind of, always stay on my players. Things maybe weren't good enough. I didn't think that they were good enough, but then I read this and I understand. And I did a lot of studying from John Wooden, and this is his definition of success. So I want to read it to you. The great and legendary coach John Wooden describes success as peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction and knowing that you made the effort to become the best of which you are capable. So I'm going to read it again. He describes success as a peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction and knowing that you made the effort to become the best in which you are capable. Then I go on to say, this is a deep quote and principle to live by. This definition of success makes the owner become accountable to his or her actions and ultimately be the deciding factor in whether or not we're successful or not. So we are the one that at the end of the day, we're the one that's responsible for if we're successful or not. So John Wooden explains success as doing the best that you are capable of doing. So let's just say lifting weights. If we're lifting, let's say 135, and I throw it up, say 20 times, but I can throw it up 50. But then we have somebody that threw it up 2 times, and that's all they had. Well, that person technically is probably more successful than me because they gave it everything that they had. Well, I just did enough. And so therefore, that's why John Wooden's teams were as successful as they were and as many championships as he won, because he didn't take no shortcuts. Like they had to be successful in their own minds, so they had to give everything that they had. You heard the old term, leave everything out on the court, right? Leave nothing on the court. Well, he made sure that they left everything that they had in everything that they did. Like most people don't know, and John Wooden, his first day of practice, what he would do, and I talked about it last week, my first day of practice or Midnight Madness, we would cut the nets down to get the players to understand mentally, to be able to visualize, how it felt to win a national championship, get up on the ladders and cut them down. Well, John Wooden, his first day of practice every year, first thing he did was taught his players how to put their socks on and to tie their shoes. Think about that. The first thing he did was taught players how to put their socks on and then tie their shoes. Now, these are college kids. Because he wanted them to understand that success stemmed in the details. If you don't put your socks on right, we all know how it feels when your socks crumble at the bottom and now you're getting blisters. Now your feet not feeling well, so now you're not performing the best in which you can perform because something so small as with your socks or your shoes not tied up. I had to tell a young man, went to my daughter's game this year. It's a young man on the boys team, the 8th grade team. He's in 7th grade, but he out there playing with his shoes untied. How does that happen? And he pick up 2 quick fouls, and he come to the bench. And I try not to say a lot because I just try to be a parent. And he come to the bench, and they kind of know I'm a coach, but I don't even bring it to him. So I called his name and I said, tie your shoes up. And I said, if you tie your shoes up, that's going to help you have a little bit more mobility. He tied his shoes up. He didn't get another. Well, he can't really move. His shoes untied. So something so small. So what John Wooden did was make people be accountable to be as successful as they could be personally. All right, let me finish this out so that we can get into it. The next thing. All right, working with role players gets everyone to understand that they have an integral part on the team and they are needed as much as anyone else on the team. Therefore, prepare yourself because you can play at any time and the system should work the same way. Hence is why I stand on the term know your role in my programs. So if you caring about your players as people, or if you're caring about your workers as people, or your students as people, then everyone has a role to play in the grand scheme of things. If you work for a big company, all right, now we're going to bring it to life. If you work for a big company, everybody has their individual role to be able to make that company work. But if I just treat you as the dude that stamps the, on the printing press, and not as John, the one who has a wife and 3 kids at home, and I don't try to find out something about you, and get to know you as a person, at some point in time, you're going to get tired of punching that stamp. But if I know your role, and if you know your role, then I'm going to treat you just like I'm going to treat the CEO, because you just as important as the CEO. So you have to be able to treat the role players, the everyday individual. You have to be able to treat the everyday individual the same way that you treat the one that we deem as having status. Because after all, we the one that gave them, put them on that pedestal. It don't matter what your position is. We're all still human beings. So just because you are the leader doesn't mean that you're any better than anyone else. So therefore, you have a role to play as a leader too. So know your role and be a role player. Play your role. Stay in your own lane. Don't try to get into somebody else's lane. But when everybody know their role, and then we looking at each other as human beings, we'll be able to get a lot more production done than if we're looking like, hey, he just stamping the press, and I'm up in the office on the computer making deals, getting contracts, so I'm more important than him. It's going to break down. It's not going to work. You ever heard the saying, treat the engineer, I don't like to use the word janitor, treat the engineer or the janitor with the same respect as you treat the CEO? Because they all just as important. That's why we have to learn how to treat people as people, and not treating people based on their positions. That's what leaders need to know and need to understand. And then finally, this is one of my favorite paragraphs in the book, especially in this chapter. When a new coach in this profession asks what makes a good coach, even though there are numerous answers, the one I would equip them with is this: know why you are doing it, and what will determine success in your eyes that can be conveyed to the parents and the players. When it's all over and the ball stops bouncing, what can those who have played for you and worked under you take with them and apply to their everyday life? I think this is number one when a coach is assembling their philosophy and team concept. So at the end of the day, why are you coaching? Why are you that supervisor? Why are you that leader? And if it's just because you get paid a little bit more money, you're probably not going to be as successful, because no one is going to be responsive to you. And then when they leave you, they're probably not going to have the same amount of respect for you. See, because people at times get fear confused with respect. See, a lot of leaders, the people under them may fear them for the sake of losing whatever position they have. Now, see, I'm gonna intertwine my last 2 segments, because I said know your role and treat the janitors with the same respect as you treat the CEO, right? So sometimes we may look down on somebody and them being inferior, but on the flip side, even that inferior person fears for losing their position, because their position means a lot to them. You understand what I'm saying? Even though we may minimize what someone else does, That small thing, that 12th person on that team that don't play a lot, that team means a lot to them. So a lot of times those individuals will fear the ones in leadership, but the ones in leadership thinks that we being respected. In actuality, we're really not being respected. They just kind of fear us because they don't want to lose that position that's so important to them. But if we treat those individuals as people, then they will respect us enough to do whatever needs to be done and hold their position in higher esteem because they know that they're just as much important in the organization or in the culture or in the chemistry as the number one person. So the thing that I tell a coach, if it's a youth league, if it's NBA, whatever, know why you coach it. And if you're just coaching for a check, then find you kind of another avenue. Find you something else that you can probably do to earn a similar check. Maybe where you can just be in control of yourself and, leadership over yourself. But when you're dealing with other people, and if the only thing that you care about is getting paid, then you don't have the well-being for your team, your players, your workers, your staff, whoever that may be, your teachers. You have no concern for them really at the end of the day because the only thing you're thinking about is your check. It's another old saying that most people live by. All right, I'm not going to say certain people, that most people live by, even myself, depending on what it is, right? And the saying is like, you or me is an easy choice. Right? If it comes down to a you or me, it's an easy choice. Because 98% of the time, I'm going to choose me. But if we treat people with respect and dignity and get to know them as people, even if I choose me, that's going to be a hard choice. Instead of me just saying, hey, man, I'm going to throw him under the bus. Because, hey, I didn't do it, or that wasn't my job. If we all got ownership because the janitor and the CEO are all the same, hey, we messed up. Now let's see if there's something that we can do to fix this, as opposed to, man, the janitor was supposed to clean that. Knowing the CEO messed it up. Or the CEO gonna come to the janitor and say, hey, like the owner or the founder is on us. If the CEO is not the owner or the founder, right? Like they tripping. So me and you, let's try to get this together beforehand. Like let's try to come up with a solution to this problem. Because we all look at things as problems, but how many times do we have solutions for those problems? That's what I mean when I'm talking about like the true definition of success. Are you really successful in being a leader? And is your team really successful? Whatever it is, if it's an office team, if it's a sports team, whatever, are they really successful? Meaning that they are doing the best that they are capable of doing. Are they really successful, or are we just doing enough because we think that's going to make somebody else say, hey, they doing head above heels over there? Hey, Bailey team, they knocking them down. His basketball team, they 25-3. Well, newsflash, this is a basketball concept, okay? Not really a life concept, but I'm going to bring it back to life. Just because you won 25 games don't mean all 25 of them games you played well. See, we can say, man, well, we still won. And yes, at the end of the day, from a coaching standpoint, it's about results. Most leaders are in the results business. The people that, even though we're leaders, the people that we have to answer to, the only thing they're concerned about is results. So it's a results business. So we always say, hey, man, we won, we squeaked it out, we got to get better. But trust me, and this has happened to me and my teams. If you win a game by 12, you're supposed to win by 20, didn't play well, you up, say 20, you win by 6. Because at the end of the game, you put your other players in and they didn't play as well. Because remember, talk about role, right? Everybody need to be prepared for their time and opportunity, and the system should roll regardless if it's the top person or the last person. The system should still roll the same, especially if we're not playing favorites. But you can win. Like you can win 6, 7 games in a row and be playing terrible. Well, we know what's going to happen eventually, right? Because we're playing terrible, it's going to fall off. And you're going to fall off that time when you can't afford to fall off. And see, we can get a false sense of security because we're winning. But that doesn't mean we're successful. So the same way in life, we can get a false sense of security because, say, we're getting paid, we're making money, and we get to call the shots. But we're really not being successful because we're really not giving it everything that we can give. Then we'll fall off when we can least afford to. Like I've made teams practice after basketball games, and nobody understood it. They'd be like, man, people used to be upstairs like, man, coach crazy, man, why got them practicing? We didn't play well. And I don't want you going home with that mentality like, man, yeah, we cold. No, we're not. We could have done better. We just did status quo. And if you get comfortable and used to doing status quo, you're going to bring detriment to yourself. So what type of leader am I going to be if all that I see y'all as just wins? In that math class, and you got a C. And the professor told me if you come to their office hours 2 days a week, you should be able to get an A out the class. But you get a C. So you're content because you're eligible. And then people may look at me screw face when I say sit down on the bench. You ain't playing the first half. Well, why ain't you playing them? He eligible. Why ain't you playing them? She eligible. They passed the class. Well, I'm doing the people that I'm in leadership over, I'm doing them a disservice if I allow for them to condense their self to minuscule. I'm not doing my job because I care about you as people. It's not just a farm system. I don't just need you to win me games. If I be at this school, if I don't be at this school, wherever that may be, if I got this job, I don't have this job, whatever, I care about you as people. Every job that I've had, and I've worked in the social service and the people business for 24 years. Started working with kids the day after I graduated from high school. The day after I graduated from high school, I had to be at work at 7:30 that morning to work with kids. Every job I've been on, I've always told them, no job is worth me losing who I am as a person. And losing who I am as a person is allowing you to not be your best you just because I got a job. I'd rather lose this job and stand up for what I believe in than to keep this job and not speak up, and you don't be the best person that you can be while you're with me, but more importantly, once you leave me. See, that's what coaching is all about. That's what leadership is all about. Going past that position and being able to look that person right in the eye and say, I got you. Now, don't undermine me, but I got you. We're going to work together because we have a goal to accomplish. Having a genuine care and concern for players or whoever as people. So, now, I want to get to my 3 points real quick. My first point, dealing with this, all right, is Coach Pop. All right, Coach Popovich, San Antonio Spurs, I love him. And I always say that I study coaches. I don't necessarily, I study players, but I follow my favorite teams are basically my favorite coaches, the teams that they coach. Like I've always liked Doc Rivers, like when he was with the Celtics, so I was a Celtics fan. Never thought that I would be. I was always a Lakers fan with Pat Riley. I'm a Patriots fan still, Belichick. I'm a Spurs fan, Coach Popovich. Right, and that's about kind of as far as it goes. I study Phil for a different reason because of the mental things that Phil did. He was a different dude. But I watched his players because he had great players. Byron Scott, used to love him when he was at New Orleans. So, I study coaches, follow coaches. But Coach Popovich exemplifies true definition of success. Because he's going to do everything he can to make sure it's possible that he did everything that he could. But on the flip side, he's going to care about all of his players as people. That's why you get so many people that play for the Spurs that nobody ever heard of. And they emerge as great. And people be like, man, who are they? Well, Pop cared about them as a person, brought them in because now they're a role player. Know your role. And also, that Spurs system, it rolls no matter who in. He's taking some of the, I watched Steven Jackson earlier, right? Won a ring, right? He was wild with Golden State or whatever people talked about him. Come with the Spurs, come on. We're going to get you this ring, boss. Hell, even Dennis Rodman played for the Spurs. I don't necessarily think Pop was coaching them then, but, Pop has a system. But when we look at people like TD, that's Tim Duncan, even though he's retired, but people didn't think Spurs would go nearly as far as they went this year because Tim Duncan retired. The system, keep rolling, baby. Keep rolling. Pop care about those dudes as people. If you ever see a Pop interview during a game, they ask him some questions, Pop real short, cut and chase, cut and drop. But whenever they mention Manu Ginobili, that dude always smiled. They could mention Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Kawhi Leonard, whoever, David Robinson. They mention Manu Ginobili, Coach Pop's gonna crack a smile. Because that's his man, he loves Ginobili. Not that he doesn't love the rest of his players, but he knows what Ginobili has given to the team and even sacrificed. I mean, he was a starter, and then he went to the bench for the sake of the team. No one person is bigger than the team, but the leader had to get him to understand that role. And then we look at Kawhi Leonard. Like, even though Kawhi got hurt, people say, man, Kawhi could have probably played game 3 or game 4. See, for those that don't know, I'm going to explain something to you. I'm going to give you a tip. It's a difference in being hurt and being injured. It's a difference in being hurt and being injured. Being hurt means you can play. Being injured means you're out. That's why they call it injured reserve. You're a reserve because you're injured. Well, a lot of times, I'm going to hold you out, which is what I think Pop did with Kawhi. I'm going to hold you out because I'm not going to let, you being hurt turn into an injury, a nagging injury over the summer, your ankle. And, you already messed it up. And then you came back and messed it up again. If you ever twisted your ankle, almost like jamming your finger. As soon as you know it's getting ready to heal, it's going to happen again. So I'm going to just hold you out. Because even though we want to win a championship, I care about you as a person, and I'm not just going to farm system you and put you out there so we can win some games, Kawhi. Or, compete to win. Because guess what? If you in or if you're not, we still going to compete. The ball's still going to bounce. But you're going to respect me more than you fear me because you know that I care about you as a person. So put your suit on. We're going to just chill out. Whatever happens, happens. If it goes 6, if it goes 7, and you ready, maybe, but we ain't going to rush you back. We ain't going to rush you back. Right? Pop is the definition of a leader. Now, on the flip side, for point 2, I don't want to talk about Coach Buzz. For those that don't know, Coach Buzz is Coach Buzz Williams. Used to be the coach at Marquette, the coach now at Virginia Tech. All right, well, Buzz told me probably 5, 6 years ago when we were talking about like leadership. And like Buzz players either love him or hate him. And most of the ones that hate him because they've never been treated genuinely before. And they don't know how to deal with someone treating them genuinely, meaning that I'm going to be genuine with you. I'm going to hug you, but I'm going to get in your butt when I need to get in your butt. I don't care if you dunking all over the place. So most of those people may not have had someone be genuine with them. So the ones that don't like him because he was genuine. And he going to tell them the truth. It was a dude that, I'm not going to go into all that, but like I've seen Buzz tell the truth to guys, and guys get ready, like they're ready to leave because now I don't want to deal with it. But most of people that have played for Buzz Williams love him because they know he's real. See, we all say that we want to be real and keep it real, but when people keep it real with us, it hurt our feelings. So this is a sidebar. If you hanging around people that's only telling you what you want to hear, you probably need to get a new set of friends. I'll say it one more time, I'm going to get closer. If you are hanging around people who only telling you what you want to hear, you need to get a new set of friends because they ain't your friends. Keep it real. Keep it real. Now, I should have kept it wrong, I guess. But anyway, back to Buzz. Like Buzz told me, and I understood it, but to hear a successful Division I coach explain it, it really hit home. He told us a story and, about, a player that he had real tough love on. And his thing was, you can help a player so much that you can hurt them. So if anybody is on the line right now, if you agree with that, Give me some likes. Give me some hearts. Let me know that you feel that. Well, you can help somebody so much to where you hurt them. So sometimes we have to give tough love as a leader. Remember I talked about you or me as an easy choice? Well, if you're not going to do what you're supposed to do, I'm not going to let you drown me. Anybody like lifeguards, I heard a lifeguard say, if I have to get in the water to save you, I'm going to knock you out first. Like, what? If I have to get in the water to save you because you drowning, I'm going to knock you out unconscious. First thing I'm going to do when I get in the water. Why? Because I ain't about to let you drown me too. We both ain't going to die. You panicking, I get in there, grab you, and you drown me. I'm going to knock you out. Then I'm going to save you. Sometimes we got to knock people out to save them. We got to administer that tough love to save them. Because if we keep pacifying them, they're not going to be successful. Because they're going to know at the end of the day, at some point in time, somebody going to rescue me. So those are the things that Coach Buzz does. Well, one of the things that he taught me and got me to understand. Because I used to feel bad sometimes about like, man, I don't cut people. Like when I got to college, I stopped cutting players. I would cut them in high school, but I don't cut players. Never cut player on a college level. You're gonna cut yourself. But I would feel bad, like man, maybe I shouldn't have been so hard on them. But no, it had to be. And those same people that come back and be like, Coach, man, thank you. You helped me be a better human being. That's what it's all about. And then last but not least, my last point for the day. My last point for the day is the analogy of Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. All right, I heard Dr. Eric Thomas, shout out ET. All right, I heard him talk about this on a podcast, and it really made sense. And I was never, food for body and spirit, right? All right, this is a BMOA shirt. When I used to help volunteer for the Ronald McDonald 3-on-3 charity basketball games and all that. So this is, the BMOA just so happened to be talking about McDonald's. But it's the difference in McDonald's and Chick-fil-A. So I don't eat McDonald's. I haven't eaten McDonald's in years. Just really started eating Chick-fil-A. I would eat if I was out of town or if I was in Atlanta in the airport, or, go some Florida or whatever, eat it, and it's good. Like, have started eating it lately, but there's a distinct difference in customer service in McDonald's and Chick-fil-A. And that only goes to one thing, leadership. They're going to treat you as an individual and they're going to care about you as a person enough for you to humble yourself and give for the team. And it's not saying that McDonald's don't have good leaders, but it's a difference in culture. It's a difference in culture. This is what we do. No matter if you from down south or if you from up north. And then, really you have more Chick-fil-A's down south because they give you literally that Southern hospitality. Like, Ludacris, you say they give that Southern hospitality. People up north, when we move fast and, we're a little bit more rude and, direct and to the point, right? That's why you see more Chick-fil-A's down south where it started than up north. But even the ones up north, all right, they're going to humble themselves and thank you for coming to Chick-fil-A. Have a good day, regardless who it is, because that's the culture. I ain't gonna say nothing bad about McDonald's because I ain't about slandering or whatever. But y'all know how it can be. You go in some stores, they be like, "What you want?" You know, my daughters love the Tyler Perry thing with Tiana Taylor, like Byron, right? But we all been in them stores, man, where they, ain't paying us no attention. Like you doing them a favor for, giving them some business that allows them to keep a job. That's a distinct reflection of leadership. And they probably are doing that because the ones that are in leadership aren't looking at them as individuals. They're just looking at them as a body to bring production. So next time you go in Chick-fil-A or next time you go in McDonald's, just know the difference. Wendy's, wherever. Next time you go in any restaurant, all right, like, the last time I gave you the call to action to say your daily affirmation, you know, one affirmation a week, 3 times a day. Hopefully you're still doing it, okay? But when you go to eat or when you go into a professional establishment, I want you to take note. And then when you go into another establishment that's similar to that establishment, if you go into a restaurant, if you go into a beauty store, sports store, liquor store, um, shopping center, and then you go into another one, like of the same liking, just pay attention to the difference in customer service that you get one and the other. And then I want you to just think back to leadership. Like, I wonder if that person is not as open because they aren't being treated as the human and the individual that they are, as opposed to they're being looked at as just someone that can bring production. And at the end of the day, they really bringing production. Because somebody like me, I'm going to just walk out. Now you ain't sold nothing. So, like, that's what I want people to look at. So that's what today's show is about. All right, true definition of success, having a genuine care and concern for your players as people. All right, again, I put the link in there, Understanding Life Through the Game of Basketball. If you don't have your book, go get it. Even though I've read excerpts, 4 different shows, we got 4 more to go. But I ain't reading the whole book. But as you can tell, for those that have been on briefly for all 4 shows or part of the shows, you understand why it's titled the way it's titled. Because I use basketball as a vehicle to push and to understand life. No matter it is what we're doing, push. My vehicle is basketball right now. But I can use finances, I can use education, whatever, to get people to understand life. Go pick your book up. Order it. I'm gonna drop the link. All right, it's $19.99. All right, Black author. All right, myself, self-published. I didn't cut all the middleman out. Self-published. Distribute them myself. The only thing I don't do is print them. So support Black authors. Support Black businesses. All right, support value, Black or white. Support it if it's valuable to you and to somebody else. It's a lot of great nuggets in here, and I'm biased. So, do we have any questions? Do anybody have any questions in the thread right now? Anybody want to type your questions in? Anything that you may want to ask me, please feel free. Throw it out there. I've been asking for several shows. I need some interaction. Ask you for some likes, some hearts. People watching, but they ain't participating. Let's stop sitting on the sideline. Let's get in the game. If anybody got any questions, any comments, anything they would like for me to talk about next week on the show? And then even if you are watching it, share this broadcast. Because if you coming on, and especially if you're staying, I know that it's got to be doing something for you. Share it. Because a lot of times we want to get information and we hoard it. We don't want nobody else to know that information because it might help somebody else out. Well, we blessed to be a blessing. Get it out to somebody else and let somebody else hear that information. Because you might be giving them what it is that they're looking for, and in turn, once they get what they're looking for, they'll be equipped to flip it and invert it and give you what you're looking for through them. How about that? If I need for this to happen, but nobody that you know may be equipped, you sharing something that you know, hear, or saw may affect somebody personally to where it does something in them and their spirit to where now it turns them around. Now they can give you that thing that it is that you've been looking for. And then in turn, it'll do the same thing for you. You'll get it. Now you'll be to help out somebody else. So that is our show for today. All right. Bless the Ball TV and the Bless the Ball studios right here. I understand the life through the game of basketball. You see it. I dropped the link. Share the information. If you got anything, feel free afterwards. It's almost like church, right? People don't want to walk down the aisle. They don't want people to see them. But if you see this, airing later, so it's not live, you got a question, type your question in there. I come back on this thread, answer the question for you. Basketball question, life question, whatever it may be, that's what we'll do. But I'm here to put out and to give, all right, and create my own. Created my own book, got, my own brand, trying to build and help others to be able to create theirs also. Because we all on one team, we all, on one family because we all God's children. So look at it that way. So no questions, no comments. I appreciate you all viewing and taking the part. IG, I talk to y'all a little bit later on. Same way with you, we can't share it on IG. But, if it was good info, just, leave a message. Let somebody know, that on Tuesday and Thursdays, you're getting fed. You're getting fed something good. All right, because I'm just trying to do my part. We all need to do our part to be able to strive and help one another. All right, so in part, as I always say, always do your best. So we talk about success today. All right, work hard and work smart because someone somewhere that is going or trying to achieve the same thing that you are trying to achieve, they're somewhere working harder and smarter than you. And if you're not working to be successful, to give the best that you're capable of giving, then when you all meet and go for that same position, that same spot, that same job, they're going to one-up you because they've been working. So get back in the lab, put your hard hat on, grab your lunchbox, and let's get to work. All right? Peace, my people. Out.